So if I know that my child is a runner, I'm going to have my arm ready, because if she runs in front of me, I'm going to put it out. And if she runs behind me, I could put it this way. So this arm's free right now. So let's just start walking. We're going to walk. Now, if she starts to get a little too fast and runs forward, all I'm going to do is block and tell her, walk with me. Walk with me. Let's walk this way. Now, if she starts to dart out, I'm going to block. Oop, I'm blocking.
Heel, 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 puppy, heel. Why aren't you just holding your child's hand if you know that your child likes to run, take off, that sort of thing? Heel, puppy, heel. Wait, it gets better. Also, this is a person with a bunch of initials after her name, so she has lots of degrees. Look how well trained her daughter is to perform for the camera. I think Dad is the one filming, by the way. I'm going to play snippets of her other videos. We'll see this one all the way through. I guess this is family day.
If she were to go this way, though, back up. If she were to back up and turn, now I'm ready with my arm this way. Oh, I'm going to block my body that way. And we're just going to practice walk with me. So, well, thank you for walking with me. And I'm acknowledging her that she's walking with me. I'm letting her know that what I want to see more of, walk with me. You could practice this proactively. You could give your child a special treat or something that, so while they're walking, a nice snack. And then if I have a child that might go that way, but I was on this side, I'm just going to use my body to pivot like this. Now she can't go that way. So I don't have to I don't have to walk in front of her and run around. I'm just going to, if I were here, come on, Grace. I'm just going to pivot. Oh, like that. And now we're that way. Oh, walk with me. Look, walking. Thanks for walking with me, Bubba. And that's how you use your body to sort of block. Yes, you could run. Go ahead. Thanks for asking. Last but not least, your best bet is to always be proactive. So what I could do is go to a place where there's no cars, and I could practice walking with Sophia, deliver a special snack while we're walking. So let's pretend this is a snack. It's not gum. Walk with me. And she's going to walk with me. And as she's walking with me, next to me, I'm delivering pieces. Don't eat it. Don't really eat it. I'm delivering pieces of the snack. Thanks for walking with me. Here. Nice walk. And I'm delivering pieces of that snack because we're practicing that she's walking with me. And when she walks with me, I'm giving her something. And if you're thinking right now, because I've had people say this, using food is not a good idea. Food should not be a reinforcer. You have to consider your pros and cons. Is it better that my daughter can walk next to me and I could teach her to walk next to me safely and fade this food out? Or the alternative is that she runs away. I lose her. She could get hit by a car. So my best bet right now is to teach her how to walk with me and use some sort of reinforcer. Sure. And use some sort of reinforcer to deliver while she's walking with me.
So I'm going to use operant conditioning rather than speak to my child like she's a little human and say, listen, you need to walk with mommy because it's not safe to take off. You could get hit by a car. I need to know where you are. It's very important, and give them a sense of understanding. You're conditioning them with treats. And listen, I have no problem with a little bribery and treats and things like that. I have a problem with how this looks like a dog training. I have a bigger problem with the fact that her children are nothing more than props, and very well trained ones. Like, they are professional, content now. They are professional performers now. And who knows what was lost in the bloopers and what was happening in there. Who knows how the children were really feeling about being filmed in that moment and what bribery or treat was involved to get them to perform to meet this parent's need to film content. I got turned on to this video by a commenter, and no shade on the commenter at all. And I'm going to read the comment, and then there's two other little snippets that I'm going to play for you. And just in the part of the treats, no shade on that whatsoever. Everything, well, not everything, that does not have a time and place. A little story time of what I consider to be a more appropriate way to parent. And I'm not the end all be all by any means. I do have 3 adult children who are pretty high functioning, contributing members of society, 2 grandchildren who are teenagers, 1 in university now, doing very, very well. We had a blended family with 5 children. So at one point I had 5 children under the age of 9. And one of my children would hide under racks in the store. He was Houdini. And you know, kids do things, and especially when you're shopping. So let's say we were doing the school clothes shopping and we're going in and out of stores and things like that. I have 1 child in a stroller. I have 4 that are free. And yes, I did have the little wrist leash that I would use if my child decided, or one of my children decided, that they weren't going to take responsibility for themselves and stay within the rules. I did have that as a sort of consequence. It wasn't a punishment. It was, look, it was an option. You can either have the wristlet on you so that I can ensure your safety and I know where you are, or you can choose to be running around crazy and, you know, put yourself in danger, put me in a situation where I don't know where you are. I'm trying to watch your siblings. There were conversations, and occasionally I had to use the wristlet. And within about 5 minutes, I would say, so what do you prefer? Do you prefer to just hang out with us, or do you want to run around? Inevitably, as children have the capability of making good decisions when you give them options, my child would say, yeah, I'll stay with you, because they didn't want the wristlet. I also didn't want to use it. If I had had enough sets of hands, I would have just used my hands to hold my child's hand. But I had a stroller and I had 4 children, 5 under the age of 9. We would walk through the stores, and here was the positive reinforcement. So I use techniques like, you know, be aware that you are responsible for your behavior and how you're perceived and how you want to interact with people. So if you want to be, you know, perceived as somebody who has self-control and who, you know, cares about other people, not at the cost of caring about them more than you care about what you know to be true about yourself. This is not that. Then, you know, don't be acting the fool. Don't be running around the store. There is no screaming. Screaming and laughing and running around in a loud way is outside voice, playground voice. We had inside voice and inside manners. We had restaurant manners. We're in a restaurant now. Pretty much transitioned from the manners that we kept in the home through modeled behavior and what our expectations were. You know, your tushy is in the seat and you're eating your meal and you're not standing up on the chair and you're not climbing over the table and all of those sorts of things. So we had a couple of things that we would use. One, it was inside voice. The other was if we went into a store. Actually, I did this with every store, but particularly if there were things that were fragile, hands in pockets. And if you don't have hands in pockets because you don't have pockets, then, you know, hands down by your side. And it was just a way for them to remind themselves not to be touching things. My children were also taught about cause and effect and how our behavior impacts others. So, for example, we used to go to Publix and get a cookie. And they knew when they asked for their cookie, of course, please and thank you, they knew not to touch the display case. Why? Because they knew that if they did that, the person behind the counter was now going to have an extra job. It's just raising awareness for our children to think about being considerate and that they do take up space and what do they want that to look like. So, you know, none of that had to do with heel. Here's a treat. The treat. That's where I kind of got off the path here. When my children, we would walk through the store, just like there was a consequence. If you went running around, you had, you know, the wristlet for 5 minutes or whatever it was. Consequence being a heavy word in this case. Cause and effect, I prefer. I would carry around little gummy worms. And they loved those. And that was just something that all of the kids liked. So it was an easy thing to get. And every time we left a store, they got a gummy worm. And it was pretty rare that all of them didn't receive that, because it became kind of like a fun little game. They were going to behave whether or not I had gummy worms. They did behave whether or not. If I knew it was going to be a longer day, listen, kids get bored. I don't blame them. I get bored too. I'm going to prepare for that boredom by giving them something to look forward to. And one of the things that I loved about that, and I never did, if one of you misbehaves, all of you are consequence kind of thing, when it came to giving a treat or something like that, they would help each other though. They were teammates. They took care of each other. So if one of the kids was like starting to get a little antsy, the other one would go, hey, remember the gummy worms? We got the gummy worms to look forward to. And it was really lovely to see how they took responsibility for themselves and for one another in that protective, positive way. Okay, let's see what else she's got. Yeah.
Mommy, now you're going to listen to the Cozy Critters, and Daddy, now you're going to listen to, but why?
I would like to.
Because we're listening
To protect you. Yeah, we could.
each other's podcast.
I like Cozy Critters.
Cookies.
You can't have more cookies. You could say that's cool.
Oh, cool. What do they eat?
They
right.
can I tell them?
Grace, you handled that so well. I'm going to give you another cookie. Wow, Gracie, that was awesome. Good job, Bubba. Thank you.
You collect this later.
So I'm not sure of everything that was, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to like the screen, whatever she wrote on the screen kind of thing. I'm not sure everything of the ins and outs of the conversation and what the directive was. Because I wasn't really concerned about that. That wasn't what caught my eye. And that being said, I'm not going to go back and look at that because I don't really, I'm bothered by the bigger picture of this. And the bigger picture of this, well, hold on, before I play it.
I'm just going to check if the lady from the camp emailed about coming tomorrow.
The hypocrisy.
Not yet. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so don't have our phones in front of our children, but if you happen to, let me interact with the child to let them know that I have my phone, that I'm doing something important, and that I'll be right back with them so that they don't start to act out to get my attention, which actually, I'll buy into that. I'll buy into no phones at the dinner table, and the house wasn't burning on fire. She actually didn't need the phone at the dinner table. She could have checked her messages afterwards and put the phone on a shelf, and she should have been modeling that kind of behavior. Why are you at a table sharing a meal with your children with your phones? It has no place. Unless there's something going on where you have a family member who's ill, you know there might be an emergency, and you need it for a specific reason, there really is no reason to have your phones at mealtime. And as she's filming this video about this is how you interact with your children if you do pick up your phone, you know, to let them know. 2 meals now, and I just went on her page and, you know, it didn't take me but a second or two to find these 2 videos pretty much back to back at 2 different meal times. Dad's holding the camera and the children are talking to him and, you know, or not or whatever, and he's holding the camera filming while she's talking about how to manage your phone in front of your children. Does anybody see that? I'm like, really? Really? So let me teach you how to parent by constantly treating my children like props to use them as examples while I create a digital footprint for them that they can't consent to. And I mean, she's constantly in their bedrooms with the camera. She's asking them questions, interview style. I mean, this is being really, really normalized. Like, this is what life looks like with your parents. And there are, I don't even know how many children out there experiencing exactly the same thing. You know, like the one who's in the high chair and there's a camera watching every mealtime, that sort of thing. Peeps, this is just bad parenting. It's emotionally abusive, in my opinion, because it is neglectful. It is neglecting your children's emotional needs and their right to privacy. It is child abuse, period. This is what we talk about when we're looking at situations of emotional abuse and people don't understand the trauma that it creates and the scars that it leaves behind. These children will, for as long as this goes down, and this is their, or as long as this goes on, and also this is their foundation of happening in the most developmental period in their lives, that the phone is actually more important than they are. Filming them is more important than their privacy. Addressing what's going on in real time, because there's times she's putting them in a car seat and they're in distress, is less important than catching it on camera. They're not first, they're not the priority. Content and income and building a business is the priority. And she'll be the same parent that when one of those children, if not both of them, end up going low contact because they haven't been treated like human beings and they've been objectified, and they will. I think a lot of these kids, I think we're going to see like a mass exodus of these I think we're going to see a lot of these kids who are growing up in this situation estranging. I think it's going to be a big backlash, because at the end of the day, they're going to look back at how their parents didn't give a toss about what their needs were. And, that's already a recipe. And she'll be the same one to go, but I was such a good parent, I don't understand why. And she never will, because she is totally and completely unaware. Oh, and the mask slipped. That was the other thing. She made a face at her husband. Did you see? And she catches it, and she doesn't want to get rid of the whole video. She can't edit it out. So she puts a disclaimer on there. I thought he was making fun of me, kind of thing. It just tells a story. It really does tell a story. I'm going to play the videos again at the end of this, even though I pretty much put them in their entirety, or the snippets that I have. They're not out of context or anything like that. I just always do that now because I want people to see, the entirety of what's going on. If I see another one, I might put it in there as well. These videos are a little bit more difficult for me because I'm putting stickers on the kids' faces and they're moving around, and I'm trying to, if I try to do the one, that it attaches to the face, it attaches to everyone's. And I'm only interested in protecting the privacy of the children. So that's why it's a little bit more complicated. I'm going to read for you the comment that, let's talk about actually the comment that brought this particular family to my attention. All right, let's get into it, shall we? So before I read this, I have blacked something out. It's the platform these videos are on, and I don't want to push any traffic their way. So that's why I've done that. And it's also for the protection of the children, because, that's what the content really contains more than anything. Some kids use their kids properly on there, but this is weirdly sick with no edits. Earlier I said no shade, but I might have a little shade incoming because I didn't really read this thoroughly. You don't gotta force people to see this weird shit. I personally love blah, blah, blah. Even though she posts her kids, but I don't know, she has a bit more tact. She's not a family vlogger, but an educational parenting page. I don't know. Check her out and let me know if anyone else has opinions on her. What defines a family vlogger? She is a family vlogger. She shows a day in their life all the time. Is that what you think? Is that why you're saying she's not a family vlogger? And I mean, she's got cameras set up in the kids' bedrooms, all over the house, Her husband is a big hand holder of the videos though, because kids move. So you can tell, there's one where you can actually see his hand a little bit. There is no using your kids properly on video and posting it. And regardless of what you do or don't edit, it doesn't change the fact that kids are not content, they're not props, and they don't belong being shown in this manner. I get why you would think that the way that they're doing this is well done because of how she speaks and presents and educates. At the end of the day, her awareness and degrees around childhood behavioral development makes what she's doing more vile, in my opinion, because she actually should know better on the basis of her education. And I am a firm believer that when you have a certain level of education and job, your accountability goes up. So for example, somebody committing a crime, that's bad. A police officer committing a crime who took an oath not to, that's worse. That's how I feel about that. So I think when you're an educator, and you've taken all these courses and done the work on childhood behavioral development, psychology and things like that, and you ignore the parts that you want to ignore because it doesn't serve your purpose, it makes you an extra level of vile. So I'm not throwing shade on you. I think you're naive about this. So I'll take it back about throwing shade on you. I think you're being really naive and misguided. And so I hope what you get from this is that children don't belong being used for content. The only time that I see maybe an exception around that is, child acting, which I have problems with also just because of there's still such a lack of regulation. I see sometimes online these kids that like they're part of the parents' band. The only time you see the children online are when they're performing a song and the rest of their life is private and you don't know what it looks like. They're promoting a skill and something that they're doing okay. At the same time, I still don't feel that it's okay to create that digital footprint. Because how far, where do we stop with that, right? And kids who are wearing leotards and dancing, we all know who's watching that. We all know who makes that popular. It's really unfortunate that that's the world that we live in. And then you have AI that takes the kids' images and uses them for other things, which is really at a next level of explosion right now. It's just not a safe world out there to put our children out there like this. And every time you post your child online, you're inviting a stranger into their lives. For what? How is that standing in protection of your children? And I understand, there's cute little videos where I remember the kid would go, but Linda, when he was getting in trouble for the cupcakes. I think a lot of people remember that one. And the kid's delicious. And I get wanting to do it because we're proud of our kids. That pride, however, can't take a front seat to their right for protection and privacy. So that's where I stand on that. What do you think, peeps? What do you think? Break this down with me. I would love to see your comments. And again, maybe a little bit, that's your name, your handle. Let's not throw shade there. I think this is a genuine moment of just being really naive about the long-term and even short-term psychological impact, parenting with a camera in a child, parenting with a camera in a child's face and then exploiting them has. This is child exploitation. By definition, it's child exploitation because one of the definitions of child exploitation is making money off of your children. So, yeah. I find it so frustrating. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being a part of this community. We're all growing in knowledge together and healing together. And I really appreciate your support and I'll see you soon.
So if I know that my child is a runner, I'm going to have my arm ready because if she runs in front of me, I'm going to put it out. And if she runs behind me, I could put it this way. So this arm's free right now. So let's just start walking. We're going to walk. Now, if she starts to get a little too fast and runs forward, all I'm going to do is block and tell her, walk with me. Walk with me. Let's walk this way. Now, if she starts to dart out, I'm going to block. Oop, I'm blocking. If she were to go this way, though, back up. If she were to back up and turn, now I'm ready with my arm this way. Oop, I'm going to block my body that way. And we're just going to practice walk with me. So Well, thank you for walking with me. And I'm acknowledging her that she's walking with me. I'm letting her know that what I want to see more of, walk with me. You could practice this proactively. You could give your child a special treat or something that, so while they're walking, a nice snack. And then if I have a child that might go that way, but I was on this side, I'm just going to use my body to pivot like this. Now she can't go that way. So I don't have to I don't have to walk in front of her and run around. I'm just going to, if I were here, come on, Grace. I'm just going to pivot. Oh, like that. And now we're that way. Oh, walk with me. Good walking. Thanks for walking with me, Bubba. And that's how you use your body to sort of block. Yes, you could run. Go ahead. Thanks for asking. Last but not least, your best bet is to always be proactive. So what I could do is go to a place where there's no cars and I could practice walking with Sophia, deliver a special snack while we're walking. So let's pretend this is a snack. It's not gum. Walk with me. And she's going to walk with me. And as she's walking with me, next to me, I'm delivering pieces. Don't eat it. Don't really eat it. I'm delivering pieces of the snack. Thanks for walking with me. Here. Nice walk. And I'm delivering pieces of that snack because we're practicing that she's walking with me. And when she walks with me, I'm giving her something. And if you're thinking right now, because I've had people say this, using food is not a good idea. Food should not be a reinforcer. You have to consider your pros and cons. Is it better that my daughter can walk next to me and I could teach her to walk next to me safely and fade this food out? Or the alternative is that she runs away. I lose her. She could get hit by a car. So my best bet right now is to teach her how to walk with me and use some sort of reinforcer. Sure. And use some sort of reinforcer to deliver while she's walking with me.
Mommy, now you're going to listen to the Cozy Critters and Daddy. Now you're going to listen to, but why?
I would like to.
Because we're listening
To protect you. Yeah, we could.
each other's podcast.
I like Cozy Critters.
Cookies.
You can't have more cookies. You could say that's cool.
Oh, cool. What do they eat?
They eat,
All right.
can I tell them?
Grace, you handled that so well. I'm going to give you another cookie. Wow, Gracie, that was awesome. Good job, Bubba.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you.
You collect the sleeves.
Get your blueberries. I'm just going to check if the lady from the camp emailed about coming tomorrow. Not yet. Okay. Thanks.